Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Legal Score. And I am your host, Sonya. Hope you guys are doing well on this final Wednesday of July. It's been a hot summer. I, for one, am actually ready for the fall. So tired of the heat. I'm not a heat person, and there's always a lot of y'all are saying, we're tired of the cold, we're tired of the cold. But I'm not. So anyway, shout out to Pink Fanfur, the realest real creator, for the promos. Brian B.A. Arndt, who does the production behind the scenes. And thank you to all of the platforms that are allowing me to share tonight. I am live July 29th, 2026. Hope everyone is doing great tonight. I want to give a shout out to Brian. It was his birthday on the 1st of July. And of course, to my sister Anissa, who celebrated last week. And happy anniversary to my bestie, Neldra Allen, and her husband, BJ. They are like my brother and sister, 20 years on today. So want to give all the shout outs out. And hello to all of you all. Come on and say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Got a lot of NFL news to cover. So tonight is going to be a football showdown, I guess I should say. Breaking news. Now, this is training camp week. Got some holdouts. The NFC South is imploding. I'm actually happy about that because that's where my team rests at, the Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately, injuries already with training camp. Nick Scorton going down out for the season with a torn ACL. Y'all know that's about an 18-month recovery. And then it's a lot of people up and down on the PUP list. I got to look at notes tonight because so much stuff has been happening, you guys. I want to make sure I get you all every single thing. Ike Ekwonu, who's the left tackle, put on the PUP list after continuing to recover from a torn patella that he suffered last season. He's not back yet. Tershawn Wharton, defensive tackle, placed on the PUP as well, dealing with a neck issue. And then there's some non-football related injuries, or should I say illnesses. Taylor Moton placed on the list today, non-football related illness, so he should be okay in a little bit. You guys know this is training camp, and these guys have not been, I say it's, turf exposure or exposure of lack of conditioning just in these brief few weeks. It has not been that long since these teams were playing. February seems like a long time ago, but trust me, here we are at the end of July, and it has flown by. So just got a lot going on. But the breaking news that I got to start out with you guys, because this is going to be a heavily NFC South night tonight. Just letting you guys know that. A lot of changes in Tampa Bay, but nobody, and I do mean, I always like to say nobody, but maybe it was somebody that perhaps saw this coming. I didn't see it coming. Just this person held out, guys. Let me make sure I don't have any comments before I go in any further. Okay. This person held out, y'all. Diving straight into the biggest news, breaking news, just about an hour ago, out of New Orleans. Taysom Hill, the quarterback extraordinaire. You guys know Taysom likes to do a lot of trick plays, quarterback sneaks. He plays multi positions. Has officially announced that he will not return to play with the New Orleans Saints. And what's up? The Pink just gave her a shout out. Yes, hello, beautiful. Hello and happy Wednesday, pretty lady of sports. Thank you, beautiful. That's my promo lady right there. But yeah, guys, Taysom Hill is like New Orleans. It's been real. He pens this emotional letter, note, what have you. But let's look at that, what that looks like after 8 incredible, almost 9 unpredictable seasons. The ultimate Swiss Army knife is what everybody called him in modern NFL history. Moving on, following a shoulder injury that cut his regular season short last year, Hill released a statement today saying that he confirmed that while he isn't officially retiring, returning to New Orleans is completely off the table. In fact, he was quoted saying, "Not in the cards." He leaves as the only player in the Super Bowl era to record at least 1,000 passing, 1,000 rushing, and 1,000 receiving yards in a career. Kudos to Taysom Hill. This completely reshapes the Saints offense. For years, Taysom was their goal line equalizer, emergency quarterback, matching nightmare with matchups throughout, especially the NFC South. And now New Orleans is going to have to build their red zone package entirely from scratch. That is a shock. Moving on to other NFC South news, the Atlanta Falcons. Not only did they go out and hire Kevin Stefanski, who had the exact same record as Coach Raheem Morris, who they let go. Go figure. Y'all went out and got Tua Tagovailoa from Miami and brought him to Atlanta. Every year, the Falcons are getting a new quarterback. Every year, just look it up. Kirk Cousins. Then they go and get Michael Penix Jr. during the draft. Before that, you got Ritter. I mean, it's just been somebody, Kirk Cousins. It's been somebody every season. Well, now they don't know who their quarterback is going to be. Michael Penix Jr. has not cleared officially to play. And Tua Tagovailoa is down there saying he's got some back soreness. And then you got Falcons that are holding out. They're holding out. Bijan Robinson, top running back in the league right now, holding out. It's training camp. These guys are like, nope. Pay me my money. Pay me my money. Bijan officially joined the wave of superstars by staging this holdout at the Falcons camp up there in Flowery Branch. He showed up to the facility to avoid the mandatory CBA fine, but he didn't go out there and do anything. He didn't do anything. He sat out. He just was there for pictures only while lobbying for a market resetting contract extension. Now, let me tell you guys, Bijan is one of my favorite players. So y'all know I'm Panthers all day, every day, but Bijan is that guy. And absolutely, Pink, Aaron Rodgers, where you at? Rampage, Dirty Birds, exactly. He got to be there somewhere because Falcon fans are sick about this. They were not happy with the whole, bringing in Tua Tagovailoa anyway. They were not happy when Michael Penix Jr. was drafted after they had paid all that money to billionaire Kirk Cousins. And I say billionaire because his contract was fully guaranteed. Like they paid that dude just to model the uniform. But Bijan just had a historic season. He led the entire NFL, y'all, with 2,298 yards just from the scrimmage. He smashed Atlanta's franchise record with 1,478 rushing yards and 820 receiving yards. This dude was targeted a lot. Now, even with Atlanta exercising his fifth-year option, can y'all believe it's like that much time has already elapsed? Bijan knows he is the heart and soul of that offense. His camp is aiming to blow past Saquon Barkley's $20-26 million annual average. So, you guys, I always talk about this. I'm always like, if you get $1, then I got to get $2. This is just how it is in the league. This will set a brand new benchmark for elite dual threat running backs if he continues to hold out and if this new contract is solidified. Because Saquon had a $20.6 million annual average. Excuse me about that, guys. I forgot to tell y'all the dollar amount. So let me guess. Bijan wants 21.6. He gonna want at least another hang a game, a lot of money or whatever. Keeping it with the NFC South, Chris Olave for the New Orleans Saints. Even though they are losing Taysom Hill, all eyes are on wide receiver Chris Olave. Good news, he was officially cleared from this long blood clot issue that sidelined him in January. You guys probably don't remember that because that was towards the end of the season, but Chris was battling some serious injuries. You're talking about a blood clot in the lungs. That could take you out like that. Their general manager, Mickey Loomis, called him full go medically today. But here's the catch. Olave is also officially staging a partial hold-in. He reported to camp, but refusing to take the field for a team 11 on 11 drills until a new contract extension gets done. He put up some numbers coming off an AP second team all-pro campaign. He set career highs across the board: 100 receptions, 1,163 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. Now entering the final year of the rookie contract with agents Jason and Drew Rosenhaus, Olave wants a top market deal. He wants that top market extension that mirrors that elite production. So after battling through concussions earlier in his career and now overcoming his blood clot, he's like, y'all know the phrase, if you pay me, you know, the gangster movies, y'all know. I don't want to name them because I'll get flagged. So y'all know who it is, but mobsters. But I mean, you got to think about it. Okay, these are major things. Now, there's only 4 teams in the South. So for all of y'all that watch the show, and like y'all don't know who the South is, y'all know who we are. You know who we are. Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Bucks. And every single team has some drama going on right now, with the exception of my Panthers. You know, we got some injuries, but we're holding everybody where we need to hold them, except, you know, Rico Dowdle is two sheets in the wind right now. But that's okay. Chuba got it held down for the Panthers. I am not even done. Tampa Bay, y'all know I had to get to them. First, Mike Evans in March goes to the other yay area, San Francisco Bay. Now Vita Vea wants out. He wants out. He's not the only one wanting out. I'll get to the second person here in a second. Vita Vea wants the money. Everybody wants the money. And I'm sitting here like, what? What? Tampa, did y'all win the South? Did you win anything? Vita Vea is requesting a trade. Let's start with this right now. So, Pro Bowler 2 times, defensive tackle. Y'all know who Vita Vea is. Tampa Bay is not the only team he's been with. Official requested a trade today. He's been having negotiations between him and his the representation of Tampa Bay, and they are at an impasse, y'all. They have failed to reach an agreement on a long-term extension because that's what he wanted. He just turned 31 in February. This is the final year of his 4-year, $71 million contract. This was signed back in 2022, but y'all, it's 2026. Can y'all believe this time is flying like that? Well, he's set to make roughly $18 million in base salary this season, but with zero guaranteed money, zilch, beyond this year. So he's like, you know what? I want long-term financial security, or I'm out. I want that, or I want a ticket out of Tampa Bay. So let's look and see, how has Vita been to make these type of demands? Like in 2025, his production, he played all 17 regular season games. He was the anchoring of Tampa's interior line. That whole interior was solid because he had 34 total tackles. He is not the person you want to see on the other side of the line of scrimmage as a quarterback. 16 tackles by himself, 34 total with some assistance, 4.5 sacks, 2 passes were defended, and 1 fumble recovery. So he's put in his work, y'all. But if you look at just the score in the box for him, he consistently, not just with Tampa Bay, he consistently ranks near the top of the league in double team percentages among nose tackles, drawing 2 blocks on over 60% of snap reps, and collapses the pocket to free up edge rushers. I told you, he is not the one you guys want to see on the other side of the line of scrimmage as a quarterback. From his standpoint, he's playing out this expiring contract as a 31-year-old, 350 pounds, y'all. He's not a little guy at all. Interior lineman. This is an intense injury risk for him because he's such a big guy and he's now past that 30 meter. Like you guys know, nobody plays football forever. Well, he's been the anchor of Tampa's front 7 for years. And he knows that this elite interior that he's on, this defense that he's putting up as a defensive lineman, he disrupts run and passes. And these people are commanding upwards of $22 million to $25 million annually, according to today's market. And he's like, y'all literally want me to take 18 and that's it? You got me twisted. So reports are coming out that he's preferring to go to a West Coast team, or Las Vegas if Tampa moves him. So he's currently reporting to camp to avoid those daily mandatory fines I told you guys about. but his practice participation is zero. He's sitting there just looking at everybody else practice while he's consistently having talks about being traded or extension negotiations. Let me tell y'all something. The West last season was the best. I'm going to come back to the South in a second. I just want to plug this in so you guys can be thinking about this, because I'm going to come back to why I said that. The fact that Vita Vea now wants to go to the West Coast, there is somebody else looming. This has been like big news. I literally will be checking before I log off for the night just to make sure nothing has happened before I end the show, to make sure, because everybody's on the edge of their seat, like y'all were with LeBron, to see where he went. Every second, refreshing their news feed, refreshing their ESPN, Bleacher Report, CBS Sports, all those accounts, to see what happens with this one West Coast player. We'll talk about him in a minute. I talked to you guys a little bit about him last Friday with the Fellas, and it's almost a week removed, and we still don't see any movement, but it's likely. Let me go back to Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield yesterday is at an impasse with Tampa Bay as well. Baker had given them a deadline to extend his contract. They did not. They did not extend his contract. And so now Baker Mayfield, y'all, as if anybody else from the NFC South needs to be having some drama. Baker's like, you know what? Let me get in on that as well, because I need to make sure you guys know that I am just as relevant. Now, let me make sure there's no news with him as of yet. As of earlier, the deadline was missed for Baker. And let me run some stuff up here real quick while I'm doing this real quick. All right, so Baker Mayfield had set a personal deadline to get a contract extension before reporting to that veterans training camp, which was on Tuesday, because both sides, Tampa Bay and him, they're unable to make real progress on a long-term deal. Talks have been officially put on pause until after the season. Now, let me tell y'all something right now. This is Baker's final season that he has a specific contract with Tampa Bay. They have not been putting out the type of production that Tampa Bay was used to pulling out. So now he wants to get paid. Now he's going to play the 2026 season on the final year of a 3-year, $100 million contract that he had. That he signed this in 2024. He's set to make about $40 million in base cap earnings this season, ranking him 16th in average number of the annual value among NFL quarterbacks. Well, Baker's like, I'm not satisfied with that. With top quarterback contracts now exploding, y'all, past $50 million to $55 million per year, per season across the entire league, Mayfield's camp is asking for a deal that's reflecting top market. So everybody's like, okay, cost of living goes up, top market increases, gas prices increase, food prices increase. So Baker's like, yeah, y'all are paying me pennies. I need way more than what I'm getting now. Buccaneers were hesitant to lock in such a massive deal, especially after their up and down season they had in 2025. Let's be clear. Tampa Bay finished 8-9. So did the Panthers. So did the Falcons. But don't worry, the Panthers were still NFC South champs. But they missed the playoffs. And so both sides basically said, we're going to let Baker bet on himself in 2026. So I guess if Tampa don't make the playoffs, they don't pay Baker anything. And Baker is probably going to be looking to take his pots and pans somewhere else and set up shop. Now, if Baker is banking on this bounce back season, considering they don't have Mike Evans no more, y'all, considering Vita Vea is asking for out, y'all, who you got? Who you with? Baker, you're banking on yourself. What all can you do solo? Because Tampa Bay is imploding. They have a new offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson. This is his fourth. This is Tampa Bay's fourth offensive coordinator in 4 years. This is Baker's fourth offensive coordinator. He can't even adjust to the previous OC before you get some of this. Y'all see how we got Dan Morgan up out of there for my Panthers. Okay. So if he needs to adjust, he needs to adjust quickly to this new OC. And if he produces this elite playing, if they make the playoffs, what have you, then Tampa Bay is going to retain the option to hit him with the franchise tag in 2027, projected around $50 million, or they're going to risk letting him test the open market as one of the top available free agent signal callers. I can already tell y'all right now, it's going to be the latter. We're going to have this conversation again a year from now, and Baker Mayfield will either have gone to a new home or be at a new home. Now, let me back up a little bit to the Atlanta Falcons. I told you guys they were not sure of who was going to be their starting quarterback. They released Kirk Cousins in March to free up salary cap space, and then they brought in Tua right away on a 1-year deal. Anytime you see teams only give a player 1 year, they are not certain. Let's put it out there right now. A name like Tua Tagovailoa, who did very good in Miami for a while, they are still not certain, and they are not comfortable signing him beyond that 1 year. So Tua's in. Now he talking about he need Bengay and rubbing alcohol and everything already. 2-3 days of training camp. You already saying you got back problems. Tua. Look like Tua Tagovailoa ain't gonna be there longer. Okay, so they brought him in there. There was a big debate about who was going to be the starting quarterback. Oh, the whole Falcon franchise came out, the front office. Oh, we're going to give both of them equal opportunity to throw around some balls and this, that, and the third. Well, Michael Penix Jr., he did show that he has a future of high ceiling. Like, this is not what we are getting the best of Michael Penix right now. We saw some glimpses of him. He showed some flashes of top-tier performances and talents in his second season. Can y'all believe it's already been 2 seasons with him? He threw nearly 2,000 yards in 9 starts with a league-low 1.1 interception rate. So kudos to him for that. However, I told all the Falcon fans, and I told some of you guys who were watching, when they drafted him, Michael Penix Jr. was in the draft with already having had surgery and injuries to every quadrant of his body: back, shoulders, hips, legs, knees, everything. He was already beat up coming into the league. But people were like, well, he was healthy his senior year. He was healthy, the end of his junior. Okay, have at it. Well, he didn't even play through an entire season as a starting quarterback before he's laid up 3 hots in a cot without the jail. He's laid up because he's hurt. So now Falcons fans and people who watch sports overall are not sure about his durability or his readiness for week 1, which is right around the corner. Next week, y'all, believe it or not, is the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction. Congratulations to Luke Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, Adam Vinatieri, Roger Steinbach, all of them going into the Hall of Fame next week. Your girl gonna be there. I'm so excited about that. I was gifted this a while back, so I'm excited to go. Hopefully I'll get to meet them. But anyway, so now bringing Tua Tagovailoa, veteran bridge, redemption arc, supposed to be there to like reinforce where Penix cannot fill in. Parting ways with the Dolphins, who showed a lot of promise a couple of seasons ago. I had them winning the AFC South. I was just like, what the heck is happening? Brought Tua in to provide some type of experience, starter production in Kevin Stefanski's wide zone offense, but when he's healthy. So once again, you just got 2 injured quarterbacks down here in Atlanta. Tua was proven to be a top 10 passer when he's healthy, but health and consistency are central concerns. Now, to start this camp already, the training camp, neither one of them, this is what's important to know, neither Tua or Penix have taken a full 11 on 11 snap. Neither one of them. So now Falcon fans and analysts are like, hold on, pump the brakes. Michael Penix, his workload is participating in individual drills and 7-on-7s. That's it. Medical staff easing him into action before clearing him for full team 11 on 11 contact drills. Tua, back flare ups. He missed the early camp practice sessions due to what's quoted as a minor back issue. But Stefanski said, oh, he's not concerned. This is not long term, and he expects him back shortly. We're going to see. We're going to see if he's back shortly, as in by next week, because this is now putting the Falcons' third string reps into the spotlight. Kevin Stefanski has a wide zone play action system, and it relies heavily on rhythm, timing, and quick processing, and traits that both of those passers, Penix and Tua, have when they're operating at 100%. But Atlanta is looking to break from this multi-year playoff drought. Now, there were another team that hasn't been there for a minute. Penix got to get fully cleared and take the job full on, because if they want to lock him in time enough for these conditioning and things like that for the quarterback timeline, they have to be able to do this right away. If Tua, however, ends up winning the QB1 spot and produces, then Atlanta stays competitive immediately while Penix is still recovering. So that's what's going on in Atlanta. I've got to take a quick break, guys. I'll be right back with the second half right after these messages.
I ain't never worried about a thing. I just gotta stay in my lane.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second half of the Legal Score. I know it's a lot of NFL news tonight. Thank you guys for all the likes, loves, and shares. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I see all you guys viewing. Everybody's being shy, or maybe y'all just driving and listening in. But whatever you're doing, thank you so very much for joining me on tonight, live July 29th, 2026, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is now 9:30. So that's what's going on in the NFC South. Even though I told you guys it would be heavily South news, I actually am able to move on. So moving on over to elite quarterback, wide receiver markets, all eyes over the last 72 hours have been unfinalized mega extensions, looming trade speculations, most notably surrounding Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, alongside top-tier wide receiver holdouts across the entire league. Now, let's talk about Lamar Jackson. So heading into training camp, reports have surfaced about Lamar that front office executives around the league are closely watching whether or not Jackson could push for a trade if contract extension discussions remain stalled. Is this not crazy? Current contract situations: Lamar signed his 5-year, $260 million extension back in 2023, while he remains under contract through 2027. After recent cap restructures, which has now crossed 55 million to 60 million annually, he has now once again, and they have now once again created a gap between market rate and current deal structures. Now, y'all, this is crazy because I feel like we just had the same conversation like a year or two ago with Lamar Jackson. Of course, two-time NFL MVP, 15,000 plus passing yards, 125 plus passing touchdowns, over 5,200 rushing yards, and 29 rushing touchdowns. He's got the highest rushing yards per game averaged by a quarterback in NFL history. But from his perspective, you guys, he has delivered multiple MVP level seasons and postseason appearances. And the market is continuing to be reset, y'all. So while the market is continuing to increase repeatedly, he's like, okay, y'all think I'm not watching the bank, but I'm watching the bank. And I feel like I need a long-term guarantee structure again, a restructuring, because the structure you guys gave me has now started to dilute. And his camp is now holding maximum leverage given his irreplaceable role in Baltimore's offense. So if you think about all of the paperwork involved, all of the, okay, guys, where have you been this entire time? The NFL gives deadlines and they give like opening times as to when these conversations can be had. Because, a person like me or you would be like, okay, y'all had all off season to talk about that. Well, maybe they didn't, or maybe they did. But do they really want to talk about this the whole time? No, they deserve a break too. They play and they work really hard. But if you think about wide receivers, they are now surpassing 30 to 35 million dollars per year. Unsigned stars that are coming in are entering contract years that are refusing to run routes until that ink hits the paper. They're like, I'm not doing anything until I see the money. I need to check. But the risk of soft tissue injuries in August without guaranteed future money is simply too high for these elite pass catchers. Now, let's talk about some edge rushers, some hold-ins, and the Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson saga. Analysts and front offices over the last 72 hours have looked at other contract standouts such as Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati and the historic Micah Parsons situation as blueprints for current training camp negotiations. Of course, Hendrickson last season with his situation with the Bengals, he led the NFL with 17 and a half sacks during his dominant campaign, forced 3 fumbles, and generated over 65 total quarterback pressures. Now, his strategy is he's got a high profile hold in, because hold in is when they go ahead and show up, but they're not doing anything. Hold out is when they just don't show up and they take the files and everything. He's there, but he's doing nothing. At the early camp practices, refused to participate in team drills, and until Cincinnati reopened these negotiations. Now his stance is yielding results, forced an updated contract structure with enhanced guarantees. So if you just look at that, everybody's looking at that, and now they're moving forward. So you think about how Micah Parsons also handled the same situation with his stats, and it ended up in a formal trade request in Dallas. Ultimately triggered a trade to Green Bay. You guys remember that? Mega 4-year, $188 million deal, $136 million guaranteed, largest guaranteed contract awarded to a non-quarterback in NFL history. So when you look at everybody that's still out here hanging out, holding out, they see this. They see that this precedent was just set last season, season before, and they're like, nope, I'm going to have a game disrupting holdout myself because my money needs to match my talent. And if you think about it, this is where it all starts. This is where the West Coast is snatching up people left and right. Aaron Donald, guys, I told you guys last week, projected the return to the Rams. I don't want him there. I tell everybody the Rams are my newest, most hated team. I just despise them. But of course, he retired in 2023. Actually announced it early 2024. So it was the end of the 23 season. This is a major point because the Rams are soaking up and sucking up everybody out there. Sean McVay came out this week and said he's in regular contact with Aaron and confirmed that Aaron is still in great shape. Y'all remember when he put the video out there of how he ate breakfast? That dude eats I think it's like a loaf of bread plus like 12, a whole dozen of eggs, a whole bunch of bacon. Like he is literally a living Incredible Hulk. And like lifts it. Like I think they showed him picking up a car and everything. But Sean McVay is like, yeah, I talk to him all the time, and he's still in great shape. He's got high level athletic training. I mean, even after being gone 3 years. He said there's no imminent decision right now being made, but he acknowledged that there is a possibility because the team did consult him prior to acquiring brother Myles Garrett. So that was attractive to him. They were like, okay, we're going to go get Myles and we're going to cough up somebody to the Browns and we're going to rebuild. So Aaron's like, okay, I'm listening. You guys remember a couple seasons ago during the Super Bowl, there was like a little spoof commercial with Aaron and his family, and his wife was like, they showed like a phone call, like the Rams were calling or something, and he put the phone down like, nope, I'm enjoying my time. Not anymore. Okay, now it's just like, hold on, y'all got Myles Garrett. Partnering with Myles Garrett for Aaron Donald is horrific for anybody playing that team. It's scary, okay? It's amazing for them. It's blockbuster for them. It's hell for anybody else playing them. Because if you put the opposing offensive lineman preparing for a so-called AD protocol, Aaron Donald, committing multiple blockers is insane when he's on the field. But if Donald actually formally decides to unretire and suits up for the Rams, he would just need to restructure and adjust his existing contractual parameters because they still paying him. He left early during the extension of his contract. $30 million hit that he would take before he could be added back to the active roster. So it's not a whole lot. Now, Donald has a 10-year dominance, over a decade with the Rams. So this dude is loyal. 2014 to 2023. He built one of the greatest resumes in NFL history. 3-time defensive player of the year, 2017, 18, and 2020. 8-time first team All-Pro and 10 times Pro Bowler. Like every freaking season he was in the league, he was in the Pro Bowl. Of course, the Super Bowl, 111 career sacks and 176 tackles for a loss. He's like way worse than Vita Vea. You do not want to see Aaron Donald on the other side of that line of scrimmage. Now, Donald was officially named to the class of 2026 National Football Foundation, NFF, College Football Hall of Fame for his legendary career at the University of Pittsburgh. Now, I will say this. That would have been amazing. And I know Steelers fans would have really been excited if Donald was going to go there. But let's be clear. If Aaron Donald comes back to the league, He's not going anywhere else, period. Shifting over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike McCarthy has banned live tackling because the risk of injury. He's like, I keep hearing about all these players getting carted off throughout the league. Yeah, we're not doing that in Pittsburgh. I'm here back. We got a almost 50-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. We're going to do what we got to do. So they had their training camp started at St. Vincent College in Latrobe this week, marking a brand new chapter. Mike McCarthy reuniting with Aaron Rodgers. Who would have thought the same quarterback that got him fired in Green Bay on his birthday, on Aaron's birthday, now they're back like never before. Mike Tomlin, the face, the franchise. Because let me tell you guys, if you're not a Steelers fan, Steelers do not fire coaches. Like they literally have had like 6 coaches in the last like 60 years. It's a high, or 4 coaches. It's a high job security. I wish I could just get dressed and go up there and apply for the job because they give you job stability. So after almost 20 years, 19 to be exact, Mike Tomlin left. And now former Green Bay and Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy is taking over. And he's already stepped up the practice tempo, running simultaneously 11 on 11 periods and emphasizing situational 2-minute drills, work without live tackling, like I told you guys during the ramp-up week. And quarterback 1, you got the quarterback room there. Of course, Aaron Rodgers leading the offense. He's coming back for one more season. This probably will be it, guys. Let's be clear. Aaron Rodgers entering camp as a clear starter at age 42. He'll be 43 in December. And basically, McCarthy is managing his reps carefully, I guess, because of his geriatric age. You know, you're geriatric if you're playing like that in the league at 40-something. But let's not forget about Mason Rudolph, the backup quarterback depth chart that is in Pittsburgh. He's taking second team reps as QB2 from day one. And he's literally like a rookie young arm that they brought in, Drew Allar and Will Howard. They got like a bunch of quarterbacks up there. They're splitting the remaining snaps because they need to secure who their true, I guess, QB3 would be. But their PUP list has been updated as well. Broderick Jones was finally cleared after undergoing off-season spinal neck fusion surgery. And y'all, that's major. 2023 first-round pick Broderick Jones avoided the PUP list and was cleared as a full participant at tackle. Joey Porter Jr., fourth-year corner, started camp on an active PUP. And Jalen Ramsey started on the PUP list, managing a knee tweak, but he's expected to be okay. And Dante Kent, of course, still recovering from that late 2025 ACL injury, is on the PUP. Then, of course, they got the front line with Troy Fontenot is taking the first team manager reps as far as that left tackle, alongside Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier, Spencer Anderson, and Dylan Cook. Now, their pass rush versatility with defensive coordinator alignment features TJ Watt. Y'all know him, JJ's brother. Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig rotating freely across left and right outside linebacker spots, including specialized 3 OLB packages. I wanted to talk to you guys as we get ready to wrap up here. We want to talk about the Lions a little bit too, because there is like a lot of players that are still, you know, kind of hanging tight or what have you. And so there is CBS Sports gives out their list, just the league-wide camp report. And a lot of players are literally like just handling these massive holdouts really bad. Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions, just like Bijan, Jahmyr is staging a hold in. He's showing up but not doing anything. Put up explosive playmaking numbers last season alongside David Montgomery. Gibbs is like, listen, I want long-term financial security before I take another hit in a live 11-11 on drill. So he's like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, we're done with that. And so that's what I'm going to do going forward. So he's holding out. Guys, this next person has just become the theatrics of the NFL. Brandon freaking Ayuk, still listed with the 49ers, but the tension between them has reached a boiling point. Like, this dude is all over social media, trashing them. Tumultuous offseason between him and the 49ers. The 49ers voided his guaranteed money by probably, all the running his mouth and then putting him down on social media. So he's effectively holding in, aiming for maximum guarantees or a trade resolution before week 1. Y'all, believe it or not, Stephon Diggs is still unsigned as well. So they were looping in, like maybe Diggs and IU go to the Commanders. Child, they are all holding out. And so it's kind of like one of these things you got to be like, okay, what is really happening, and why is Stephon Diggs still not signed? You know why? Because even though Stephon Diggs was vindicated by being found not guilty, that's a whole different story. With the situation with his maid, his assistant, the Patriots just cut their losses. Now he's entering training camp as one of the most prominent unrestricted free agents. Stephon Diggs is still on the market. New England released him. He came back from so Stephon had his 2024 ACL injury as well. And he played the full 17-game season last year with the Patriots, and they went all the way to the playoffs, guys. 85 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns, and they still released him. Like, literally, salary cap release and roster restructuring, but y'all released him. Now, he was found not guilty, but this NFL inquiry is going on. It started in June. Well, excuse me, wrapped up in June. They had an independent review under the personal conduct policy confirming there was insufficient evidence for league suspension, clearing him to sign without looming discipline. But we are now at the end of July. So he's working out, but where? Premier landing spots, people have projected, like I told you guys about Brandon Ayuk wanting to go to the Commanders. Diggs is from Maryland, and he's publicly expressed an interest in returning home to Maryland, to DC, to play for the Commanders. And they're saying that Washington has actually emerged as motivated landing spot to provide Jaden Daniels with a proven veteran option alongside Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. But 5 other teams have actually expressed interest as well. They're checking in contenders like the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, and the Atlanta Falcons. These are teams that are interested in what Stephon Diggs brings. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. There was some other stuff that was out there. I try not to click on a lot of stuff, but there's other personal things that are going on with Stephon Diggs. Y'all can feel free to look it up. I'm not going to be messy to talk about that because it's really not like it's a criminal matter. It's just more so like personal conduct matter. And I just feel like there's just a looming issue with certain players and their lack of discipline. Like I tell you guys, your off the field, off the court behavior can impact your money. Like, we don't get a chance to go to offices and behave in a non-professional way, even in our personal lives, without it being some type of ramifications with our job. So the NFL is like, you're the face of the team. You're also the face of the NFL as a whole, and we're just not putting up with it. So anyway, let me make sure. I want to pull up a few more items, just make sure there's no more breaking news before I get off here. I see I got about 7.5 minutes left. Okay, here's one. Atlanta has apparently, back to them, signed an emergency quarterback. Cooper Rush. You guys remember him? They have just immediately signed him as an emergency addition to immediately start doing practice reps alongside the roster. So this lets me know right now, Tua and Michael Penix Jr. may not be ready for week 1. And so if you think about that, that's big. Let me shift to Kansas City. I talked about them for a minute being interested in Stephon Diggs, but I did not tell you guys that Patrick Mahomes has been fully cleared, 100% medically cleared for all training camp activities following that off-season knee rehab, by avoiding the PUP list entirely. So congratulations, and congratulations to Travis Kelce, who is now Travis Kelce Swift. He's married to Taylor Swift. And so looks like he's going to be back after all. The Raiders have named Kirk Cousins out there in Sin City as their QB1. Kirk is still at it. New Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak, y'all know him. He announced that Kirk Cousins this week will open training camp, taking the first team snaps. And he's going to be QB1 and will receive a ton of reps. In fact, while their rookie, who they drafted, number 1, Fernando Mendoza, is going to compete alongside him. So they went ahead and got them. I bet you know what? I bet you Kirk is having deja vu for real. Because with the exception, well, let's see. Yeah, he was QB1, and then they went and drafted Michael Penix in Atlanta. And now he's QB1 now, but he's once again another top draft, but this time the top draft. But at least this time, Kirk's going into the situation where he knows that the Raiders actually got this number 1 draft pick. And people were saying, don't expect much from the Raiders unless it's Kirk that can pull it off, because Fernando Mendoza comes in. This draft class was not overly saturated with QB talent. If you look at it from a statistical standpoint, the teams that Fernando was playing against were not that good, kind of like Colorado State, where Shador came in, but Shador showed them. He shut everybody down. So, but the point is, y'all know the number 1 draft picks go to what? The worst teams to finish in the previous season. So they can't have it. Cleveland, speaking of Shador, is actually working on an extension for their safety, Grant Delpit, while bringing in their veteran edge defender, Jadeveon Clowney, for training camp to bolster their front 7. Now, Clowney, it's hard for me to take him seriously at this point. I don't clown on anybody's name, no pun intended. But Jadeveon is a journeyman at this point. I honestly am shocked that Cleveland brought him in. He's already been in the league 12 years, believe it or not. Started out with the Houston Texans, selected first overall in the 2014 draft. Played with them for 4 years, actually 5 seasons. He had 3 consecutive Pro Bowl selections, 2016 and 18. And then he was a second All-Pro while still establishing himself as an elite run defender. Left there, went to Seattle in 2019. Actually traded before the season, playing 1 year under a single season tag deal. Had 31 tackles, three sacks, and 4 forced fumbles in 13 games. Not too shabby. This is the start of his journeyman. So he started with Seattle in 2019. The very next year, he went to Tennessee. Signed a 1-year deal, $12 million contract with them. Season was cut short after 8 games because he had a knee injury. And he had 19 tackles, but no sacks at that point. Then he went over to the Browns the first time, 2021 through 2022. Had a major bounce back year opposite Myles Garrett. Myles was with them back then. 9 sacks in 14 games. And then in 2022, he re-signed a 1-year deal, but recorded only 2 sacks in 12 games. So they were like, okay, Clowney, you're clowning us. His tenure was very turbulent out of Cleveland. He was sent home before the regular season finale. Y'all remember that, after making critical public comments regarding how coaching used him alongside Myles Garrett. Looks like they put that to the side. He went on over to Baltimore from there in 2023, another 1-year contract. Best statistical season of his career, 9.5 sacks, 43 tackles, and 2 forced fumbles. Then my Panthers got him in 2024. Return home. That's where he's from. He's from the Carolinas. 2-year contract with them, serving as a veteran primary edge rusher. Then went over to the Cowboys in 25. So even though he had a 2-year contract, 2024 and 2026, he's over with the Cowboys and played 13 games, 6 starts, rebounded. Now he's back with the Cleveland Visit, now currently a free agent, taking official training camp visits with the Browns. So they're apparently squashing their beef. He's played for 7 teams, y'all. 7 teams in 14 years. But yeah, so that's all I got tonight, y'all. This was fun. I know it was a lot of information. I hope you guys catch the replay if you don't get a chance to know everything I said. Make sure you stay here at McGrath Podcast Network. And I hope everybody has a great night. We're here 24/7 without cost of cable, sports, and entertainment. Good night.